Two storied programs going head-to-head tonight in the NCAA Women's Bowling Championship. Nebraska, the defending champions, having its hands full with Fairleigh Dickinson. Game apiece in this best-of-7 game series, and we're midway through game 3. And it's the leadoff bowler, Valerie Calberry, for Nebraska, trying to increase the 3-pin lead for the Huskers. And does with a strike. I feel like both teams sort of settling down now.
Definitely settling down to what the lanes are doing, because you're seeing the matches now are a little bit closer.
Right.
The shot making a little bit better. So it's definitely, you know, everybody's gotten used to the atmosphere, and now they're just trying to execute.
Tracy Ganjoin, the junior from nearby Brick, New Jersey. This was her high school bowling lane. Trying to give Fairleigh Dickinson the lead. A strike would have done it.
Makes a good shot, keeps her ball right on line, comes in just a little light and leaves the 10-pin.
She's a lefty. She's the leadoff bowler. Does that matter? Because you mentioned the leadoff bowler kind of sets the tone. Well, if you're a lefty and no one else behind you is, how do you set the tone?
Well, that's a little bit different. I think in this case, she's going to set the tone in motivating everybody, telling, getting them going. Come on, get the team spirit going. The second bowler on Fairleigh Dickinson is going to be the one that's going to read the lanes for the rest of the team.
So sort of like co-leadoff bowlers in a way.
Co-leadoff bowlers, yes, but I would say the first bowler is going to be your motivator. It's going to be the one to get you going.
This is Kristina Mickelson, who was inserted into the lineup at the end of last game. Got a strike in her first frame tonight. This is her second. And another strike, back-to-back strikes for Mickelson, just a sophomore from Bellevue, Nebraska. As Nebraska increases the lead.
That builds a lot of confidence for the team too. Here you bring in the sub, and her first 2 shots, strikes. That's a pretty good guess. What do you think?
Litteral with the strike to answer. Danielle Van de Meer.
Before Danielle was getting on the approach, you saw Cassandra talking to her a little bit, rubbing her back. I think they were doing some breathing, calm the nerves, set the mental tone.
Boy, that ball goes way out wide. And it comes back to only leave the head pin.
She likes to throw a big hook. She likes to open up the lane, but this one she gets way right of her target, comes in way light of the head pin, leaves the 2-pin.
2, yeah.
The coaches said during the week the girls were using their break point about that 9-10, not getting it too far right of the second arrow. And once it got outside that second arrow, they found a lot of where the ball skid, didn't get to the head pin. That's what you call you're out of bounds.
Van der Meer picks up the spare. You mentioned the 9-10. Explain that to people who may not know what you're talking about.
The 9-10, the 10 board is the second arrow. The 9 board, 1 to the right of the second arrow. The boards are in 5 board increments, so second arrow being 10. And that was almost like the out of bounds. When you got it right of there, the ball never recovered.
Carrillo leaves the 10.
Much better shot, much more direct, high flush in the pocket, leaves the ring 10.
We were expecting to see Nicole Toto, who's been in the 3rd spot tonight. Jolie Carrillo was given to us just as this match was about to start. And you can certainly see why Mike Lepresti inserted her into the lineup tonight. She's been a great addition. Picks up the spare. Ann Sopp will come up next for Nebraska. And everything that she's rolled tonight, with the exception of one frame, has been a strike. Sopp, a junior, said she idolizes Leuthold. And you can maybe see another Leuthold in the making here in terms of leadership and setting the stage by example more than words. And certainly her bowling tonight has led the way for the Huskers. She's been the player that the Huskers have counted on. Now, Leuthold graduates this year. Can you see a player like Ann Sopp moving into that anchor position? She's sort of been all over the place in her first couple of years here at Nebraska.
I think she's definitely settled down into being more comfortable with her game, with lane conditions, and really putting it all together. One thing Coach Straub winds up doing by the time you are a junior at that school is you are an all-around complete bowler. And that's where Katie's at right now. So I can see her definitely being one of the girls to step up to Cassandra's spot.
And you basically want your anchor bowler to not have much of a memory, to block everything out, forget about the last bowl. The pressure's not a factor, and Sopp seems to thrive in that environment. This is McEwan in the 4 spot and picks up the strike for Fairleigh Dickinson. Try to get back in this third game as we head into the final frame, and another tight one, Carolyn.
Great shot, much more direct up the lane. This time, she carries them all.
This is where Nebraska stole game 2 from Fairleigh Dickinson, the 10th frame. Nebraska up by 12 pins.
But these shots are very important. Fairleigh Dickinson working on a strike in the 9th. Cassandra working on a spare. First 2 shots, very critical. Looked like a pretty good shot. Barely getting up to the head pin, leaves herself 2-4-5.
Now this is where Fairleigh Dickinson made the critical error in game 2, not picking up this spare.
And this is not an easy spare to make. The 2-4-5, she's going to throw her strike shot at it, so she's going to try to hook into the 2-4-5. It is a choppable spare. Looking good.
And she makes it. So Leuthold picks up the spare. Does what she had to do. Talking to Bill Straub. She'll have one more roll here. That's another reason why this anchor is so important. When you get to that final frame, you actually have the opportunity to roll 3 times. Pick up the spare or the strike.
And count on this shot is very important. Very important.
And she knocks down 9, leaves the 4. And now it's up to Erica Perez. Fairleigh Dickinson's fate in her hands here in this final frame.
She needs this first strike.
Right into the head pin.
Got that shot just a little bit left of where she was playing.
So that will give Nebraska mathematically this 3rd game. As Leuthold again comes through for the Huskers.
After Erica makes the spare, if I were the coach at the time, I would probably have her either move on the lane, make a bigger move to see what happens, and or change balls. And as you can see, Coach Lepresti's up there talking to her. Not that I didn't think he would be, but this is definitely a chance to get a different read on the lane.
The game is over. And Perez leaves 2, but Nebraska and Bill Straub working on another national title. They take a 2-1 lead in this National Bowling Championship. Nebraska 2 games away from back-to-back national championships. Nebraska